Hi there. So today we are going to look at Unreal Engine real-time sky replacement using Composure. So there's three pieces to this demo. The first, you need a track camera and sequencer. So I'm going to be using Blender for that, but you can always use After Effects or Resolve to do the same. And if you are doing this live real time with a tracking sensor outdoors, you would not need this first step. The second one, we are going to do the sky replacement using Composure X. And lastly, we're going to export the Composure results. So firstly, we need an HD feed to do the camera tracking. I find that 4K will slow down Blender considerably. We'll also need image sequence for later to later import to Unreal. So let's open Blender. So I have a VFX workspace here in Blender. You're going to want to change the FPS to match the frame rate of your footage. And you're going to open your feed. Hit Set Scene Frames and hit Prefetch. This will allow you to put the video in your memory, so the playback will be smooth. Next, you want to do Detect Features. Put this a low number, 0.01, and you can do 80 for this. And just drag it forward. If the trackers are gone because of a moving subject, just do it again, but remove the trackers on the moving subject. Hit A to select everyone and drag it forward again. Every time you see the frame move to a new view, just keep doing the detect features and remove the trackers on your subject. Hit A to select all, tag it again. So you're done here. We see there are some offending tags, so you can delete them manually, or you can also go to Solve, hit Cleanup, and do Filter, do 10, delete those. I think it will clean up these guys. Keep cleaning these up. Set keyframe, refine focal length and K1, K2, and just solve. You ended up with a solve error lower than 1, so that's pretty good. I want to set the floor, so we want to track before the subject moves in. I want to track this guy, and this guy. So let me track that backwards. I'm going to solve it again. So solve error is still low, so that's good. So these three, I'm going to select one of those to set origin. And I'm going to select three of the floor tags, then set floor. Going to do set background and set up tracking scene. So now we have a track there. So we're going to export that to Unreal. Before we do that, we want to change unit to 0.01 because Unreal is on centimeters. After you do that, you're going to need to go to this Blender for Unreal project. Just follow the instructions here, how to install. And you're going to have this tab, Unreal Engine. So select your camera, go to Object Properties, Export Recursive, Export Process, and just hit Export for Unreal Engine. After that's done, copy import script here, and you're done. Next, in Unreal Engine, after you install the Blender for Unreal plugin, you can go to the output log, just paste the script that was copied from Blender, hit enter, and then you can save this animation as an Unreal sequence. So I'm going to do sky replacement sequence here. It will create a sequence. Let's change this to this FPS. It will create a scene camera. You want to change the aperture to inactive. You also want to change the manual focus to inactive. So if you play this, you'll see the camera move is exported from Blender correctly. Next, we want to bring our footage in. So here I have all the EXR image sequence. So you just create media, image media source, sky replacement image. Select the first one, pick your FPS. Don't forget to go to project settings, make sure this is unchecked, make sure you have system time code check with the same frame rate. After that, you want to create a media player. Let's call this Sky Media. And you want to, in that sequencer, you're going to add a media tag. You can select your Sky replacement image. Make it as long. Right-click Properties and select your Sky Media texture. Then when you hit play, they will both be synced in playback. So I have some buildings in the background, but it's over on that side and my camera is pointing to the other way. So let's right-click on the camera on the sequencer and disable the continuously respawn. And I'm going to bring an empty actor here, zero it out. I'm going to parent that actor so this camera has that empty actor as a parent. So then I can rotate this and still have the camera move correctly. You need to add that actor to the sequencer so it sticks. If not, it will just go back to where it was. So that's done. We need to mix in our camera footage with the CG background. So let's create a empty comp shot here. Call it Composure. Let's add a media plate and a CG layer. Okay. Call this CG. Call this media. For media, just empty out all the transform passes. And let's bring in this texture. For the CG, we'll need to go to the scene capture component, uncheck this, and then you can play around with how you like your CG element to be. So our media is in Sony S-Log. So I will need to add a transform. So I call this media OCIO. After you create this media OCIO compositing pass, we're going to need to bring in the child output. So I have a material called CX pass-through. It does simply just passing through whatever you select here. Let's add another one for the OCIO. So here, select Compositing Open Color IO Pass. Select the OCIO from Sony to linear sRGB. So you have that. So next you want to comp out the sky. So let's add another layer element. Let's call this Luma Sky. Put the media underneath it so we can access it. Let's do another pass-through. Select your media OCIO. After this, let's select CX channel select with bias. Now it's taking it from pre-pass, which is the pass-through output, and let's select the blue channel because the sky is blue. So that's looking pretty good. So let's adjust the levels. Let's play this back to see. Okay, so we still need to crash those a bit. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. But we want the mask to be inverted. So let's add an invert element here. CX invert. So this will be inverted. If we check here, we have the RGB, but we don't have the alpha yet. So let's add another pass, CX RGB to alpha. And this will add this will transform the RGB to alpha. So the alpha will be white here. I think we might need to clamp the alpha. Let's do CX clamp alpha. And Let's just make sure. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, I think now we have everything we need. So let's go to our main composure. I'm just gonna put this up here. So our main composure, let's do a simple over. Let's put the CG behind the media, and we want this Luma sky as the mask. Okay, how's that looking? I think the movement is good, but there's still some jarring transition. So we can definitely play around with this bias to get a better looking image. But one thing I want to do is I want to bring back the sky from my media back behind this. So let's go back to Composure again. And let's add another over, CX over mask. First I want to check how does the alpha looks like. Okay, so that's the new alpha. So I think I should be able to simply put pre-pass as the top, and in the bottom I want to put my media back again. So I have my original sky on it. It's blown out because it's linear. So let's put everything back to Sony S-Log. So besides, so I'm gonna get this from the Sony S-Log. I'm going to add this from the Sony S-Log. And let's change the CG from linear to Sony S-Log as well. I'm not sure if this is the correct way to do OCIO, but let's try that. I think I'm going to need an OCIO for CG here. CG OCIO. Just here. Same with before. I'm going to do a pass through here. Okay, and I'm going to do I'm going to do the open color IO pass from linear to Sony S-Log. Let's go back to Composure. Instead of CG, let's put the CG OCIO. So we have this final result. You can definitely play around with the fog amount to see if it will blend better. So I found that you need to right click here and convert your camera to possessable. If not, it's keep detaching from the actor and resetting the rotation. So after you've done that, you need to make sure your composure output is player viewport compositing output. Make sure your composure is in your sequencer. Hit this button, select Composure Export, and capture movie. It will render out here, and after you're done, you will have a file that you can edit in Resolve or any other NLE that you use. So I have the export here as an image sequence, and this is when I bring it to Resolve. It's an S-log, so I'm able to grade it together. And that's it. I would like to say thanks to Ian Hubert's Blender tracking tutorial, and also Blue Haven's tutorial on how to export the camera from Blender to Unreal Sequencer. Thank you.